Let's first take a look at the lead vocal tracks. So all of these pink tracks for me are lead vocals. And as far as what's under the hood, I'll show you in just a minute. But basically, you notice it's not just one lead vocal track, and I'll explain why. I very rarely will put all my verse and all my chorus lead vocals on one track. And I feel like there's two main reasons why I do that. And sometimes it can be one or the other, but a lot of times it's both. Number one, I feel like if I put all of my chorus vocals and all my verse vocals on one track, they typically, from an EQ standpoint and just overall treatment standpoint, I find need to be treated slightly different from each other. So if you think about it, in most cases, a singer is singing lower in their register in a verse and higher in their register, in most cases, in the chorus. So because of that, I find that EQ moves need to be slightly different. There's typically lower, kind of woofier frequencies you need to tame in the verse. That if all those are cut out of your EQ moves in the chorus, your vocal might sound really thin and harsh. So instead of doing a bunch of automating, I find that it's easier for me to just split those out. The other reason why I'll split out verses from choruses is delay and reverb sends. One thing I'll do is I'll ever so slightly treat, verse reverbs and delays different from chorus reverbs and delays. It's just treating those delay sends and reverb sends slightly different from each other is just one other way that I can create interest in my arrangement, make my verses feel slightly different from my choruses. You've heard me talk about that kind of throughout this video and in other videos I've made. And again, I feel like in music production, in modern pop music, you're always trying to make that chorus hit. You're always trying to make that chorus lift, and you're kind of trying to use every tool that you possibly can in your toolbox as a producer, as a songwriter, to make that chorus lift, hit hard, and feel as good as it possibly can. And with that, to me, treating your verse vocal effects slightly different from your chorus vocal effects are just another tool in your toolbox as a producer to help you do that. You maybe in general you can make your verse vocals a little drier, add a little bit more reverb delay to your chorus vocals. That might not always be the move. That's kind of a good starting point. So those are really the two main reasons why I would have my lead vocal split over so many tracks and not just all on one track. Let me first solo up Kobe's mixed lead vocal for you, then we'll break down under the hood what's going on from a mix standpoint. So his vocal in the verse mixed sounds like this.
Lately I've been feeling bulletproof, like I ain't got no ceiling for what I'm about to do. I'm making my own current, and that's the truth. Lately I've been feeling like I'm in an oasis out here on my own. I'ma make it known, I'll be making waves.
Cool. So now let me take all the plugins off and break down for you what I'm doing from a mix standpoint on these. So I'll first disclaim to you that this isn't my normal full vocal chain because Kobe cut these vocals at his place and he sent me his fully processed vocals with plugins. So that in solo with Kobe's processed vocal sounds like this.
Lately I've been feeling bulletproof, like I ain't got no ceiling for what I'm about to do. I'm making my own current, and that's the truth. Lately I've been feeling like
That sounds like a really good vocal. I just wanted to give it a little bit more height factor, excitement, saturation, just good subtle moves to help it cut through the speakers and sit in the mix a little better. So I don't know what plugins he had on his vocal up till now, but you can hear that's not a totally dry vocal. But what I did is I'll just break it down, and all of these plugins are doing really subtle moves, and you can hear what each one's doing. Hey friend, Christian Hale here. Thanks so much for checking out today's video. Real quick, I actually wanted to let you know that this video is a part of a larger video, which you can find linked down in the description below or over on the end screen. So if this content was helpful and you want to go even deeper on the subject matter and see it in its full context, definitely go check out that video for more. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you real soon. I'm sending all the vocals to this lead vocal aux right here that have, subtle EQ moves. Just, the biggest move here is like 1.29 dB into the Meta plugin running Acoustica Ruby. Again, this is just doing a color and saturation thing for me more than it's doing an EQ thing. Into Acoustica El Rey. It's a compressor, but like the Ruby, it's a color box as much as anything as it is for me as it is compressing. So it's not really compressing much. It's just adding a color and a glue to the vocals that I really like. Into OTT, just to, only at 8% here and 17 and 16% down there, just to push the vocals through the speakers ever so slightly more. Into Pro L2, adding 4 dB of really clean gain. Again, just helping push those vocals through the speakers, how I like it. Into Neutron Exciter, saturating 2K to 10K right here. That's the range in a vocal that in most cases you want to speak. Like you need super sizzly high end and you need body in a vocal, but that's not necessarily in most cases the part of the vocal that you really want to come forward. You really want that 2K to 10K, your upper mid range to poke through the speakers. And I find that in split band saturation using neutron exciter, tape saturation in that range is a really musical and natural way to my ears to get that range of frequencies to cut forward in your lead vocals. So I have that on my vocal aux, and then all of that right there is being finished off with JST Clip. Told you JST, love this plugin, great plugin. There's stuff happening on the channel. I'll break that down for you in a moment, but let me start with nothing going on, nothing going on the lead vocal aux, and then I'll slowly start to add stuff into the lead vocal aux so you can hear what each plugin that I just showed you is doing.
Lately I've been feeling bulletproof, like I ain't got no ceiling for what I'm about to do. I'm making my own current, and that's the truth. Lately I've been feeling like.
So you hear just sort of one plugin at a time. We're adding gain, we're adding color. It's doing good things. So what I really like about that lead vocal aux is it's giving us excitement, it's giving us color, it's giving us all the good things I want. It's bringing the vocal forward, but there's a little bit of harshness that I feel like that was probably in Kobe's chain of plugins that is now with the hyped up vocal is coming through the speakers. So on a track level, I wanted to tame some of that a little bit. So first have a little bit of auto tune. We all know what auto tune's doing, just, you know, catching the peaks and valleys of just intonation. But from there, I added this T-Rax multi-band limiter, which is doing this to the vocal.
Lately I've been feeling bulletproof, like I ain't got no ceiling for what I'm about to do. I'm making my own current.
You see it's doing limiting, it's doing compression, but in my mind, to my ears, it's doing it in a really musical way that's not super harsh, not super bright. So again, I like the color of what that's adding as much as anything. Follow that up by Soothe, love Soothe, just to tame some of that top end. And then this de-esser right here is kind of doing the same thing as Soothe. They're sort of doing a 1-2 punch off of each other in my mind. This is the Waves de-esser. There's a few different de-essers I use for different purposes. To me, the Waves de-esser isn't personally my go-to for true sibilance control, but to me, it kind of does a de-harsher sort of thing. So it's sort of acting in tandem with Soothe to kind of de-harsh the upper mid-range, the top end of the vocal. So the Soothe and de-ess are added together after the multi-band limiter sounds like this.
Lately I've been feeling bulletproof, like I ain't got no ceiling for what I'm about to do. I'm making my own current, and that's the truth. Lately I've been feeling.
And again, going back to no plugins at all, I'll leave the auto tune on, but going back to no plugins at all, I'll start going one plugin at a time on Kobe's verse vocal, which again was already mixed, already had some stuff going, and you can hear, and I'll do this in context of the track too, so you can hear on a track level how it's functioning, because that's really what matters at the end. Who cares what your vocal sounds like in solo? It needs to sound good and speak in the context of a track. So here's that one plugin at a time on the verse.
Lately I've been feeling bulletproof, like I ain't got no ceiling. What I'm about to do, I'm making my own current, and that's the truth. Lately I've been feeling like. Lately I've been feeling bulletproof, like I ain't got no ceiling. But what I'm about to do, I'm making my own current, and that's the truth. Lately I've been feeling like.
And from there, I just sent to a little slapback delay, a little bit of a short delay, and a little bit of the short reverb. It's the slate reverb on a Bricasti setting. In another video, we'll go over all of my reverb and delay sends in detail. If enough of you comment down below and say, hey, show me your reverb and delay settings, happy to do that. But again, that's a whole video or 2 or 3 in and of itself on that. So comment down below if you want to see my reverbs and delays, starting points for vocals. It's all these black tracks down here, but again, sending to a short reverb, short delay, and a slapback, which in context sounds like this.
Lately I've been feeling bulletproof, like I ain't got no ceiling. But what I'm about to do, I'm making making my own current, and that's the truth. Lately I've been feeling